My friends, I'm just going to tell you right now, I am tired. I was up super late last night. I got up at 4 a.m. East Coast time to sit on a plane for 5 hours to come back to the West Coast, where it was the same time of day as when I left. But what's weird is I'm tired. I could fall asleep right now. And I'm also excited. And when was the last time that you felt both tired, exhausted, and excited all together, all at once? So, why am I so tired? If you're watching me on YouTube or wherever, you can see I've got tired hair to go with it. Um, I just got back from our twice yearly business conference. I'm a member of the EntreMD Business School with Dr. Una. That's a fabulous program. And we meet twice a year to come together as mostly women physicians. There's a few men who show up in the group, and twice a year we are together in person. We meet weekly on Zoom, and that has its own energy. But being in the room with this dynamic group of physicians who are all building businesses that matter. Some are building practices, some have well established practices at this point, some are coaches, some are speakers, some have products. It is an amazing group of humans. And the common through line is how much hope and energy is in this group trying to put good things out into the world. Now, I wouldn't have thought that a conference for physicians in business was going to be a hopeful place, right? Um, Boy, put me back probably even 5 years ago, I would have said, no, 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 that's, business is, terrible and wrong. Um, but here's the thing. When you have a group of good humans, a group of excellent physicians who are not satisfied with the status quo of might be employed practice, it might be academic practice, um, and wanting to put something else good in the world. You get physician CEOs who are entrepreneurs building businesses that matter. And being in the room, feeling the energy, having all the conversations that we have, both the formal discussions, but also the informal sidelines. Dr. Un always talks about how we have breakthroughs in the bathroom, right, where we're waiting in line. That energy is palpable and it's so inspiring. I feel like it's my twice yearly IV bolus of excitement and hope for the physician community. And so I was in that room all day after being in its 2-day conference. And, of course, we went on a walk, we went to dinner, and the conversations just kept flowing. And I was ready to go to bed. I knew I had to get up early. But then I saw another one of my friends who I hadn't yet got to sit down with. And of course, we plopped down in the lobby of the hotel and we just kept talking about what's going on in her business. She has an amazing obesity medicine practice that's on the other side of the country from me. It's cash pay practice, right? So it's very different from what I do. And yet I'm so connected with her, just, and it's so wonderful to be in her presence and talking through the challenges that we face in common. I'm an insurance based physician, and yet the way that we take care of patients is so aligned. And again, there was energy in the discussions. There's energy in pouring your hope and your curiosity into other people, and that's really what these events are about. And I was up very late, again, knowing that I had to get up early, and I want to highlight that as we talk about this because I know tired. You know tired. We all know tired. And most of the time, we have forgotten what it feels like to be both tired and energized, both tired and excited. And I want to talk about getting back to a place where you can have that same energy. Now, I don't love being tired today. Certainly not going to lie about that. and I forgot to block my schedule tomorrow, so I'm gonna go to work tomorrow, and I'm gonna be tired after hopefully having a really good sleep tonight. But it's worth it because, again, what I get out of being in this energized space, and this is a super nerdy passion of mine to be in this group of humans. Again, I'm so jazzed. It's completely worth the experience. And again, we're going to talk about excited tired versus the tired that we know. What is the tired that we know? Being up late charting, being on call, long hours, maybe delivering babies or doing surgery in the middle of the night, maybe dealing with a worried family in the emergency room, maybe receiving a page or a phone call, maybe up with a sick kid. Maybe you just can't sleep because you're replaying over and over the interaction that you have with a patient or a colleague or a staff member, right? These are the common tireds that we face, and it's our lived experience to walk around in chronic sleep deprivation. And let's contrast that with excited tired that you have felt at some point in the past, right? Where your mind is just buzzing with possibility, not with anxious thoughts, not with dread for tomorrow, but just excitement about what's possible. When was the last time that you felt that way? It might feel like the answer is never. And I'm going to challenge you, of course, to think more about that because I can guarantee that there have been experiences in your life where you felt this excitement and this fatigue. And we are so used to the other kind of fatigue that we forget we can feel more than one way at the same time. So if we think back, when was the last time that we felt this excited tired? Again, it's really easy to get confused. Now, I'm tired because I made intentional choices. I made intentional choices to stay in conversation and to, absorb the energy in the community and the connection that I feel with this group of humans. We might feel that way about, something fun that we're doing on vacation or some special event that's in our life. Or, you know, maybe you're a physician who does improv, performs in some way, right? Maybe you're just out with good friends. Again, just like me, but, laughing into the night. Maybe you're not talking work things because not everyone is nerdy like us. So we'll accept that. But we're also so used to running on adrenaline and just normalizing the fatigue that we feel. And we need to get out of the space where we just constantly push ourselves and just tell ourselves that we're fine. Today I came home. I was able to rest a little bit. I was able to take a shower because I smelled terrible after all that adventure. Um, I ate some food. I knew that I needed to record today, but I also just wanted to be easy with myself. We'll put myself to bed early tomorrow because, again, I'm going to have to get up, right? That's me just allowing myself to have the experience of, yes, I'm going to be tired today, probably going to be a little bit tired tomorrow, if we're perfectly honest. But to me, it was absolutely worth it to have the experience because I don't do that every weekend, right? And I can contrast that with, again, even as little as 5 years ago, where my weekends were filled with lack of sleep still, my weekdays too, of course, up late charting, worried about things that people said. And it just really highlighted for me as I was thinking about this, how I've made intentional choices that have put myself in a different place to be able to look at fatigue differently, to be able to see that there are other ways that we can experience fatigue besides just feeling so stuck, feeling so trapped, feeling like we have to stay up until midnight charting. We tell ourselves that we feel fine. We tell ourselves that this is just normal. to have this amount of sleep deprivation that we should just push through because everybody else seems to be doing the same thing. We've been trained for it. We've been trained to push ourselves, trained to pretend like we don't have needs, made to feel like we should just push on because that's what they did, right? And they're the attending, so they should know better. When we normalize this degree of chronic fatigue, when we normalize the lack of ability to tune into our bodies, then we will ritualize numbing. We will constantly say that we're fine, but we are not fine. And we are not lit up and energized. We are not curious. We are not compassionate. We are not feeling like our human selves. Again, even though today I'm feeling really tired, I wouldn't have chosen to spend this weekend any other way because of what I'm looking forward to. This fatigue will pass and I will definitely lean into the sleep. And giving myself the bolus of energy that comes from the connection, the conversations, being curious about what other people are building in their businesses and having them be curious about what I'm building in mine. It is the medicine that I need right now. And so I want us to just appreciate that when we're living in a place where we are not taking care of ourselves, where we are believing that chronic fatigue is just what we signed up for, where we're believing that there's no room and space in our own lives for us, we aren't going to be able to have those energized moments, right? Because we're so tapped out in our energy stores that there's nothing that can spark that energy. We need to figure out for ourselves, how do I want to live my life? How do I want to take care of myself? How do I want to set things up so that I will not neglect my sleep? I will not neglect my passion and my interests, right? And putting myself in places where I can have those deep connections with people, wherever that space is for you. If we don't put those things back into our lives, if we don't see those things as things that we need, ways that make us human, it will not come for us. We're going to keep it brief here. But I want to ask you, when was the last time that you felt both excited and tired? And if you can't think of the last time, what would have to be true in order for you to feel that way? What would need to be in place in your life that you put yourself in situations where you had so much fun, you just kept talking late into the hours, where you were so energized by ideas that it was hard to sleep because you were just buzzing, where you felt so connected to other humans and supported and seen and held. These little bits of connection, even though they may be in discrete pockets, they matter so much to us as humans. I think I spent such a long time forgetting how it felt to feel seen and heard that part of me, I think, didn't think that it could exist anymore. And if you're feeling that too, I just want you to know that it's part of our work to figure out, how can I put myself into a place where I can do that again? How will I choose to value my humanity and know that I need something different if I don't have that right now? I don't know what else to call it besides work, because it is work. And while we're good at work, we're also good at avoiding this kind of work, this kind of tuning in, this kind of reflection, this kind of decision making if something needs to change. As I've thought about what shifted for me this weekend, and I won't talk about that exactly, but some big things shifted. And the reason why they shifted was not because I was making myself tired, but because I was taking the time to put myself in this community where people do dream big, where people do connect, where people do get curious and ask the right questions, hold each other accountable, and commit to showing up fully as themselves, fully ready to bring good things into the world, fully engaged, fully excited. Now, for all of us, we all go back to our regular lives, right? I'm back at home, as you can see. I'm back with my family. Um, forgot to tell my husband that he had to come pick me up at the airport, so he's a little grumpy about that, but that's okay. He loves me. He forgives me. I'm back in my life. I'm out of that space, and yet I'm going to carry that energy with me. I'm going to be okay with the fatigue that I feel. Like I said, I'm going to take care of myself. Won't be long, I think, before it's dinner and then bath time and then bed. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up and go to work, and I'm going to be tired, and that's okay. But what's important is that I took the time. I took the time to put myself in the place where I would feel energized. And I've been doing that regularly for years now. I've built a life where I'm able to make those choices, to some extent to make the sacrifices that it takes to go and do something like that, but knowing that it is such an important space for me, knowing that doing this work is exactly what I want to be doing, that taking care of myself enables me to take such good care of my patients, which I find incredibly meaningful. It enables me to take great care of my family. It enables me to take great care of myself. I know that not all of us feel like we have the privilege and the luxury to do that. And I will fully acknowledge that I feel very privileged. And yet I also remember the work that I did to get here. And I invite you to think again, if you find yourself sitting there thinking, I don't know when the last time I felt both excited and tired was. I don't know when the last time I felt engaged and curious and passionate and like, I don't know, full of meaning and joy and knowing that I should go to bed, but I'm not going to because I'm still engaged in the conversation. I want to invite you to give yourself time to think, to give yourself time to reflect on what it is that you want, that what it is meaningful to you, because that truly matters. You may feel like there's no time and space for you to do that. It doesn't just fall out and come to us. We have to create that space. So I invite you to do that. I give you permission. I implore you to please take that space for yourself. My friends, that's what I have for you today. If it's not cohesive, sorry about that. Again, sleep deprived, messy hair. I don't know. This is just what we got going on today. I'll be back with you next week. Until then, take care.